The logistics industry is changing faster than it ever has before. Technology is advancing. Customer demands are evolving. Business models are shifting, and companies are willing to sacrifice their workforce on the altar of efficiency. That's not my opinion. That's not my bias. That's what we're literally watching happen right now. UPS just eliminated 48,000 jobs. Let me say that again. 48,000 jobs gone. That's not a typo. That's not clickbait. That's reality. And while Wall Street is popping champagne bottles, there are 48,000 families wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage next month. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, I don't work for UPS. Why should I care? And that's exactly the mindset that's going to get you blindsided when this wave hits your company next. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about UPS. This is about where our entire industry is headed. Let me break down what actually happened here, because the mainstream media isn't telling you the full story. They're just reading press releases and regurgitating corporate talking points. But we're going to dig deeper than that. UPS didn't just wake up one morning and decide to cut 48,000 people. This has been building for months. Back in April, they announced 20,000 layoffs. People thought that was bad. That was just the beginning. They've now more than doubled that number. 14,000 of those cuts came from management. The rest, those are the guys on the ground, the guys loading trucks, the guys driving routes, the guys doing the actual work. And here's where it gets really interesting. UPS closed 93 facilities this year. 93. Think about that for a second. That's not trimming fat. That's amputating limbs. They're completely restructuring how they operate, and they're using words like efficiency and optimization and sustainable growth. But you know what those words actually mean in corporate speak? They mean we figured out how to do more with less people. Now, the company says they've saved $2.2 billion so far with these cuts, and they're expecting to hit $3.5 billion by the end of the year. And you know what happened when they announced that? Their stock jumped $7 billion in market value in one day. The investors are thrilled. They're making money hand over fist while 48,000 people are updating their resumes. But here's the part that should really concern you. This isn't about UPS struggling. They beat earnings expectations. They're making money. This is about them making more money by cutting the workforce. And if UPS can do it while they're profitable, what do you think every other company in this industry is thinking right now? I've been in this industry long enough to see the writing on the wall, and that writing says automation, consolidation, and elimination. The technology is getting better every year. The pressure from shareholders is getting stronger, and the value placed on human workers is getting lower. Let's talk about what's really driving this decision, because it's not what UPS is saying publicly. They're making a massive strategic shift away from Amazon. You heard that right. They're planning to reduce Amazon shipments by 50% by the second half of 26. Why? Because Amazon volume is less profitable. They're chasing higher revenue per package instead of just moving more boxes. Now, on paper, that sounds like smart business, but think about what that actually means. UPS built their entire operation around high-volume e-commerce shipping. They hired thousands of people to handle that Amazon surge. They opened facilities. They bought trucks. They invested billions. And now they're saying, actually, we don't want that business anymore. At least not as much of it. So what happens to all those people they hired? What happens to all that infrastructure? It gets cut, it gets sold, it gets eliminated. Because in modern corporate America, pivoting strategy means leaving bodies in your wake. And here's what nobody's talking about. UPS isn't the only company doing this. Go look at what's happening in tech. Go look at what's happening in manufacturing. Go look at what's happening across every major industry. Layoffs are everywhere. Companies are calling it restructuring. They're calling it right sizing. They're calling it preparing for economic headwinds. But it all means the same thing. Human workers are becoming expendable. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, those UPS guys should have seen this coming. They should have had backup plans. And you know what? Maybe you're right. But that's the same thing people are going to say about you when your company decides to cut costs, when automation takes your route, when AI takes your dispatch job, when algorithms decide your position is redundant. The labor market right now is brutal. I'm hearing from drivers every single day who are struggling to find work. Companies that were hiring like crazy 2 years ago aren't even returning phone calls now. The freight recession is real. The overcapacity is real. And now you've got 48,000 more people competing for the same jobs. And let's be real about something else. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are real people. These are guys who've been with UPS for 10, 15, 20 years. Guys who thought they had job security. Guys who built their lives around that steady paycheck. And now they're out, just like that. UPS is talking about simplifying operations and reducing overhead, but they're not talking about the families. They're not talking about the communities that depended on those jobs. They're not talking about the economic ripple effects when you dump 48,000 people into an already struggling job market. And here's the thing that really gets me. Wall Street is celebrating this. They see 48,000 layoffs and 2.2 billion in cost savings, and they cheer. They don't see people. They see efficiency metrics. They see profit margins. They see shareholder value. And that tells you everything you need to know about where priorities are in this industry. I want you to think about this from a driver's perspective. You're running a route for UPS. You've been doing it for years. You know every stop. You know every customer. You're good at your job. And one day you come in and they tell you it's over. Thanks for your service. Here's your severance. Good luck out there. And then you watch the stock price go up. How is that supposed to make you feel? How is that supposed to make any worker in this industry feel? It tells you that loyalty doesn't matter. Experience doesn't matter. Doing your job well doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is whether keeping you employed helps the quarterly earnings report. Now, I'm not naive. I understand business. I understand that companies need to be profitable. I understand that sometimes tough decisions have to be made, but there's a difference between making tough decisions during hard times and cutting 48,000 jobs while you're beating earnings expectations. That's not survival, that's greed. And the scary part is this is just the beginning. UPS is leading the way, but everybody else is watching. FedEx is watching, XPO is watching, every trucking company in America is watching, and they're seeing that you can gut your workforce, boost your stock price, and face zero consequences. In fact, you get rewarded for it. So what does this mean for you? What does this mean for everyone watching this video? It means you need to wake up. It means you need to understand that job security is a myth. It means you need to be prepared for the possibility that your company could make the same decision tomorrow. I'm not trying to scare you. Actually, that's a lie. I am trying to scare you because I think you should be scared. I think every worker in this industry should be looking at what happened at UPS and feeling a chill run down their spine. Because if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. But being scared isn't enough. You need to be prepared. You need to have backup plans. You need to be building skills that make you harder to replace. You need to be saving money for the possibility that you might be out of work. You need to be networking and staying connected to opportunities, because the days of working for one company your entire career and retiring with a pension, those days are over. The logistics industry is changing faster than it ever has before. Technology is advancing. Customer demands are evolving. Business models are shifting, and companies are willing to sacrifice their workforce on the altar of efficiency. That's not my opinion. That's not my bias. That's what we're literally watching happen right now. UPS says these cuts will position them for sustainable growth. But sustainable for who? not for the 48,000 people who just lost their jobs, not for their families, not for the communities that depended on those wages. Sustainable for shareholders, sustainable for executives, sustainable for people who will never have to worry about whether they can afford groceries next month. And you know what the worst part is? This is going to work. UPS is going to be more profitable. Their stock is going to stay high. Their executives are going to get bonuses. And every other company is going to look at that and say, we should do the same thing. And then they will. And more jobs will disappear. And more families will struggle. And Wall Street will keep cheering. So I've been doing this channel for a while now. And honestly, I try to keep things positive. I try to focus on the good parts of this industry, the freedom of the road, the pride of doing hard work, the brotherhood among drivers, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't acknowledge the dark clouds gathering on the horizon. The tension between corporate profits and worker stability isn't new, but it's reaching a breaking point, and what happened at UPS is a perfect example of that tension snapping. 48,000 people on one side, $7 billion in market value on the other, and honestly, there's no question which side won. I want to be clear about something. I'm not anti-business. I'm not anti-profit. I believe in the free market. I believe companies should be allowed to make decisions that help them succeed. But I also believe there's a moral dimension to this that we're ignoring. There's a human cost that isn't showing up in any earnings report. These layoffs are happening while UPS is profitable. Let me repeat that because it's important. They're not struggling. They're not on the brink of bankruptcy. They're making money. They just want to make more money. And the easiest way to make more money is to pay fewer people. That's the calculation. That's the cold, hard math of modern capitalism. And look, I get it. If you're a shareholder, you're happy. Your investment went up, you're making money. Good for you. But if you're a worker, if you're someone who depends on a paycheck to survive, this should terrify you because it proves that your job security has nothing to do with how hard you work or how well you do your job. It only has to do with whether keeping you employed maximizes shareholder value. Where does this end? How many more jobs get cut? How much more automation gets implemented? At what point do we look around and realize we've built an economy where fewer and fewer people are actually needed? And what happens to everyone else? I don't have all the answers. I wish I did, but I know this much. We need to start having honest conversations about what's happening in this industry. We need to stop pretending that everything is fine. We need to stop acting like workers and companies are partners when clearly companies view workers as expenses to be minimized. The UPS situation is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that in this industry, in this economy, you're always one corporate decision away from being out of work. It doesn't matter how long you've been there. It doesn't matter how good you are. If the numbers say you're expendable, you're gone. So what do you do with that information? Well, you prepare, you adapt, you stay sharp, you build multiple income streams if you can, you save money, you stay connected to the industry, you keep your skills updated, you make yourself as valuable as possible. Because honestly, the alternative is just waiting around hoping your company will be loyal to you. And we've just seen exactly how that story ends. Look, I know this video is heavy. I know it's not the fun, lighthearted content you might have been expecting, but sometimes the truth is heavy. Sometimes reality is uncomfortable. And I'd rather give you the truth and make you uncomfortable than lie to you and leave you unprepared. The bottom line is this: UPS just set a precedent. They showed every company in this industry that you can make massive cuts, eliminate tens of thousands of jobs, and get rewarded for it. The shareholders win, the executives win, the workers lose. And unless something fundamental changes about how we value human labor in this country, this pattern is going to continue. 48,000 jobs gone, families disrupted, lives upended, communities impacted, all so a line on a graph could go up. That's where we are. That's the reality of trucking and logistics in 2025. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not preparing, You're going to be the one caught off guard when it's your turn. Stay safe out there, Diesel family. Watch your six. And remember, the only person who's going to look out for your future is you. Companies aren't going to do it. Wall Street sure as hell isn't going to do it. It's on you. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in our industry, smash that like button, share it with every driver you know, and drop a comment below telling me what you think about these UPS cuts. Are you worried about your own job? Do you think this is going to spread to other companies? Let me know. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I'm going to keep bringing you the real unfiltered truth about what's happening in trucking. No corporate spin, no sugarcoating, just the facts and analysis you need to navigate this industry. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Keep those wheels turning and your eyes open. This industry is changing fast, and we need to change with it or get left behind.